y'all. My name is Ebony. I'm the CEO of Ebony's Mobile Notary, the founder of 757 Notary Sisters, the owner-operator of Boss Events. All right, y'all. Y'all been asking. Y'all want to talk about apostilles. Got my notes over here, and we gonna talk about it. Again, if you're looking for help, book a one-on-one. That's the best that I can say. But take some notes, and maybe this will help you too. So let's start off with what is a apostille. Some people say apostille, some people say apostille. Say the word that suits you. I don't give a damn, right? So apostille, apostille. It is a French word for authentication. A French word. It just means authentication. That's it. That's it. People need documents, apostille, to be used in a foreign country. They're going to use this document in another country. Most of these countries are countries that participate in the Hague Convention. If you want to know what the Hague Convention is, there are certain countries that participate in this to make sure that documents are legalized, and they're trying to do it just in a different manner. I have a list of the Hague countries. It's in that apostille book that I have in my Etsy store, who all participate in, and you can read all about it. And it was a treaty signed back, I want to say, in 1961, the whole 9 yards. But that's not even the important part. Is you just need the list. What countries participate? What countries don't participate? What do I need to do if a country does not participate? But most times they're calling you because that country does participate in that. And the client already knows. Don't think that you're going into this blindly. The client knows what they need, right? The same way like with notary. They know they need a document notarized. They know they need a document authenticated. They already come with that, right? All right. So the apostille is the seal or the stamp that is attached to the document. It's not a you. People go, how can I become an apostille? I don't know. Call a church if you're trying to become an apostille. I don't know. That has nothing to do with notary. The apostille is just either the seal or the stamp that is attached to this document that is going to be used in another country. Most of our documents, there's going to be a state level, and then there's going to be a federal level. Most of my documents are on the state level. I have done a few on the federal level, but most of my documents have been done on the state level. I have done a few on the federal level, right? All right. A notary can provide this service because we are notaries, we're public officials, and anybody that you can do your own apostille person, really. But as a notary, we're a public official. They feel more comfortable giving us those documents to kind of facilitate that transaction, right? So again, most people that need these documents authenticated is because they're needing it in a country that participates in the Hague Convention. It was a treaty that was signed on October 5th of 1961, blah, blah, blah. All of that information is in the ebook if you want to know more about what is a Hague country and the countries that participate in it, right? Some of the documents that may require an apostille, and it may be others that I don't know about. But here are some of the ones that I've ran into. Court documents, school transcripts, immigration forms, diplomas, power of attorneys, single status applications, or affidavits, passports, a United States driver's license, an authorization letter, a travel consent, business articles of incorporations, certificates of good standings, and even some commercial invoices, right? These are all just a few of the documents that could require a apostille, right? Again, you have documents that are going to be on the state level, and you have documents that's going to be on the federal level. right? So you have to do your research when that client calls you. If somebody calls me and says, I need my birth certificate apostille, we're just talking about your birth certificate. Your birth certificate reflects what state you were born in. That is a state level document. If someone was to call me and say, I need my FBI background check done, that's a federal document. Federal. So that's not on a state level. That's federal, right? And there are two different things that you have to do to have these documents authenticated. Let's go with that. All of the documents do not require a notarization. We know that we don't notarize vital records. So if it was somebody coming with me for a birth certificate, there is no notary stamp involved. I can attach if I want, and they don't need it, at least not in Virginia. The person as an individual acknowledgement saying that this is, that they are who they say they are, but all I'm doing is with that birth certificate, Secretary of State. Yeah, Secretary of State. Anyway, let's see what else I can find to you. All right. So now one of the most important things is that if the document does require notarization, and say you are not the notary, you have to triple check that notary's everything. Make sure that their seal is clear. Make sure they wrote the expiration date. Make sure if they have a number up there, make sure everybody signed it. You're making sure that the proper notarization was done. So say that my client lives in Ohio. No, let's see. No, my client went to school here in Virginia. They live in Ohio now, but they need their school transcripts from Virginia authenticated, right? So they went to school in Virginia. So I'm going to go to the school. They went to ECPI, because that's where I went for nursing. They went to ECPI. I'm going to go to ECPI, request the official transcripts. I'm going to attach a copy cert of the registrar from the school. That's what's going to be notarized, saying that these are official transcripts from ECPI. I'm going to take that to the Secretary of State. They are going to attach that gold seal to it, and they're going to give it back to me, and I'm going to get that document to my client that lives in Ohio, who is getting ready to travel to Italy to be a nurse practitioner over there. Do you see how that went? Hopefully you do. Right? That's how that went. So hopefully you can understand that example versus a birth certificate where no notarization is required. We just need to get it apostilled in the state. So like when I did my very first apostille, the person lived in Pennsylvania. They were born in Virginia. They got me their birth certificate, and I was able to take it to the Secretary of State. I did attach an individual acknowledgement saying that, I did accept the birth certificate from John Doe, but I found out later I did not need it. So, boom, took it up there, got it authenticated, got it back to them. They went on about their business, right? So then people say, what if I live 6 hours away from the Secretary of State? Well, that's when you get your buddies involved. If you want to give it out to another not give it to another notary, but maybe you accept the document and you send it to your notary buddy that maybe is only 30 minutes away from the Secretary of State, and you guys help each other out. Everybody get a cut. Or either you can do something like mail it, where you're just doing everything, and you're doing everything by mail because you do live so far from the Secretary of State. Most notarizations outside of vital records will require, most apostilles or documents that need to have apostilles will require notarization. Not vital records though. Not vital records though. Not vital records though. And you got to make sure that you know what you're doing. You may be attaching an acknowledgement, a jurat, a witnessing cert, or either maybe even a copy cert. So you will have to know exactly which loose needs to be attached, or if a certificate needs to be attached at all. Again, all this information is in the ebook. Right now, I think there are 94 countries that participate in the Hague Convention. In that ebook, there are the link to the countries that do participate, and then also have a link in that ebook for the countries that do not participate, right? And again, those documents may have to go to the embassy. There's different steps for those documents, right? And I'm only speaking for me. I think Davita told me in Massachusetts, it doesn't matter what language the document is in, they'll take it. In Virginia, our documents have to be in English. So say mama lives over in Mexico and she had a power of attorney and the kids are, trying to get it. She got some land over there. They're trying to, mama done passed on and they got this power of attorney, but it's in Spanish. I hope I'm doing that right. I would get a translator involved, get that power of attorney translated over to English, and then start my process. Again, on that ebook, I have a link to who I use for translation services, and I build all of this into the price, right? Again, you can do this. This is something that it's a lot of thinking, more so. It's a lot of thinking. It's not something that's just like easy peasy, especially if you have something big like LLCs, people opening up opening up businesses in other countries, or even businesses other countries opening up businesses in the United States. You just kind of got to think it out. I know for me in Virginia, I get a lot of transcripts because we are a military state. So like the last apostille that I did was for a high schooler. They're being transferred from here. He went to 9th and 10th grade here, but he'll go to 11th and 12th grade. I want to say they're going, I forgot what country. Don't give me the line. I'm going to be lying if I even name the country because I forgot. But whatever the case may be, in order for them to prove that he's supposed to, I guess the grades are different from there to here, that he's supposed to be going into like, say, the 11th grade, that they needed those official transcripts from the high school. So I went and did that, and I got it back to them before they left for school. Sometimes you'll be sending those documents to that actual country. I've done a single status affidavit for the Dominican, and they were getting married, but he was over there on a visa already, so he wasn't coming back to the States. So I had to send it all. I had to request from the Virginia Department of Health. We had to do that. We did a run to get the document back. Not a run for the apostille, but just to get it, to get the request for the single status affidavit. And then they sent me the single status affidavit, and then I went and had that apostille, and then I sent it to him in the Dominican Republic because he was already there. Hopefully that made sense. Everybody goes, well, who do you market to? Colleges, high schools, pharmaceutical companies, businesses that do business internationally, law firms, people who are buying and selling properties. I was doing a bunch for the lady. She was buying and selling properties in Jamaica somewhere. Wedding planners when they doing destination weddings. Adoption agencies when they adopting the children from like China, especially international adoptions. It's a lot of thinking, but it's not complicated, if I can say that. So I think more so of you just adding this to your business and then you get in with your notary buddies and you're working it out, because sometimes you need another person to talk to. Like, I've called people and been like, okay, this is what the circumstances are, help me. Or either me, I'm real good for it, I will email, I will say, hey, I just had a client call me, this is what they said to my Secretary of State, and they'll email me back and let me know, hey, this is what you need to do, and then I do it, and then it's done. So don't hold yourself back from not doing it, right? It's not something that I get an overflow in. I'm not saying, oh, I make all my money doing them. I probably get 1 or 2 a month, but that 1 or 2 a month is really, really good for me. Everybody talks about pricing. Pricing is such a hard thing to really talk about, but let's just put something together. Let's do a birth certificate. I'm an hour and a half away from my Secretary of State. So let's just start. My client their feet are planted here in Virginia. We'll start with a simple one. And we need to get their birth certificate apostille by, today is August 19th, by October 1st. Let's just go with that. And so therefore they're not in a hurry. So what I would do I would obtain the birth certificate. If I charge a travel fee, maybe they live around the corner. So maybe I would just start off with my $40, let me get my calculator up here. So maybe I'll just start with a $40 travel fee to go and obtain the document, right? So now I got the document. The Secretary of State charges $10 for the first document. I got to bill that to the client. So there we go. We got $10. I charge $195 for my services. Then I've got to have a shipping label, because I'm not driving to the Secretary of State. I'm going to mail it. I do overnight. You can do whatever you want. Some people use USPS, some people use UPS, some people use FedEx. I like FedEx. I got a business account with them, so I do use FedEx. That's what personal choice. So I already know one shipping label to the Secretary of State is $35. That's for me to get it there. I've also got to include another shipping label for me to get the document back. Okay, so now that I've got the document back, I've got to return the document to my client. His total for that birth certificate would be $355. I paid $10 to the Secretary of State. I charged a $40 travel fee to and from. I had to get 2 shipping labels. So after this $355, let's take it away, minus the $10 for the Secretary of State, minus $35 for one shipping label, minus $35 for the next shipping label. So I walked away with a gross of $275. That works for me. That works for me. What works for you works for you, right? So now let's do another example. Let's do the transcripts, okay? Because that does require a notarization, right? So now my client, they call me, they say, hey, we've got the transcripts right here, but we need them apostille. Get my calculator out. Cool. I go pick up the transcripts from my client. That was $40. I travel to the school to go and get them authenticated. I'm not going to beat your head up, so I'm just going to charge you the notarization. It happened to be 2 notarizations that I needed, because it was like the official transcripts, and then it was like the grading card that they needed, right? So in my state, I can charge $5 per notarization, so let's do 10, because there was 2, right? So then when I send my documents off to the Secretary of State, it's $10 for the first document and $5 for each additional. So because remember, I got 2 documents, right? That's going to be $15, right? Then I got to get those shipping labels, right? Remember those 2 shipping labels? So for the 2 shipping labels, that's $70. Okay? So now I got my shipping labels. I got it notarized. I got my 1 travel fee for me going to go pick up the documents. And now, remember, we've got to charge my fee. Remember, I told you the first document is $195. The second document is $75. I'm at $405, right? So then now I got the document back, and now you guys, you need me to send it to the actual school. So now we got a 3rd shipping label, and the school is all the way in Italy, and now that shipping label may cost me another $100. So I'm at $505 that I'm going to bill the client. But remember, there was expenses, and y'all saw what those expenses were. So I would still walk away with $355. So hopefully this information helps somebody. Again, that book is in the Etsy shop. It's $7.57. Go take somebody's class if you want. I know there's several people that host classes. But for me, it's just really a think it through. I offer the service, and I just think it through. Is it a state that is first? I'm gonna find out, where did the document originate from? Where did it originate from? Where is it going? Original origination, and final destination. Those are 2 very important things that I need to know. All right. Does this document require notarizations? What is the turnaround time that my client needs this document back? Is this document a state document, or is it a federal document? How many steps do I need to do in order to execute this? And I'm going to think it out. So hopefully you get it. And if you don't get it, book a call, grab the book, take somebody's class. All this information is out here for you to be successful. My 20 minutes are up. Bye.